I'm driven by the power of what if. I have been since I was a kid. What if I could fly? What if I could change the world? What if I could do anything that people tell me I can't do? At the same time, I have almost like an allergic reaction to injustice. It's a combination of those two things that I think make up who I am. I know the world water crisis is solvable. It's just people not willing to put in the time or do the work. But what if all of a sudden we approached it from a standpoint where a kid was like, oh my God, that's the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen. Those guys are surfing, they're climbing mountains, they're riding motorcycles, they're traveling and exploring and adventuring, and they're helping all those people at the same time. Nobody's ever looked at being a humanitarian as something cool. What if?
John is an old soul in a humanitarian young body. So I've never seen him make any major mistake, quite frankly.
I've never heard of anything like Waves for Water. I think he's gotten clean drinking water to 8 million people since we've started.
He's a superhero in my eyes.
Bonjour! Okay, that's as far as my Creole goes, so.
Okay, c'est Creole, ça help me again.
And I'm sorry. Today is World Water Day.
Jodi a c'est jour de l'eau à travers le monde.
And what we are doing right here, we are doing in 6 other countries today, right now. Haiti, Indonesia, Liberia, Nicaragua, Philippines, and Brazil are all connected right now. And the end result for today's action, the World Water Day action, is 100,000 people gaining access to clean drinking water. People who come from a developed country don't really have a good understanding about access to clean water. We've had it. We go to the sink and fill up water and drink it, and we're fine. We want to take a shower, we go into the bathroom and take a shower. Most of the world isn't set up that way. We're the minority. So we're gonna show you why we're here. We're gonna take dirty water that will make you sick, your children sick, and we're gonna make it perfectly clean, and we'll drink it first, of course. 85% of the waterborne illnesses out there in the world are one of the same 5 biocontaminants: cholera, E. coli, salmonella, giardia, and typhoid. The water filters that we use stop all of those. So we're gonna do a quick demonstration showing you how the water is filtered.
Premièrement, monsieur va monter ça très rapide. Après ça,
The technology itself was derived from dialysis, and it's membrane filtration. So basically what that means is inside of the filter is a cartridge with thousands of microfibers. Those microfibers make up a membrane. Essentially, those fibers create like a net that stops all of the bad stuff and only lets clean, pure water come through. So we grabbed water from the river right there. The biggest problems here that happened with cholera happened because of rivers just like this. You can see it's not clean. The water from whatever source you get it is put into a 5-gallon plastic bucket, which at the bottom of that bucket has a hose coming out of it, and at the end of that hose is the filter. No batteries, no electricity, no machinery.
Pas de batterie là-dedans, pas de pile, pas de machine, pas de rien.
Just gravity.
C'est simplement à partir de gravité.
This is one of the greatest technological advancements of our time. It's cost-effective, portable, easy to use. I've done implementations before where I come into a community, you know, train a mother, and I come back the next day to check on things, and she comes running up to me crying in open arms saying, my baby doesn't have diarrhea for the first time in its life. That's an immediate, tangible, real impact. I did not think in a million years I would be doing what I'm doing now. I started surfing in Laguna Beach. I think I was about 9 years old. I just really fell in love with it, and it just became my life, my reality, my one-track mind.
I saw the passion he had for surfing. He was determined. He wasn't just like, oh, I'm just gonna surf and then go, you know, it was like he was on a mission.
Our company always looked for good students, articulate humans, and top athletes as well. We just said, you know, this kid's pretty amazing. We should do something with him. He's probably going places.
All through my amateur career, I rode for Billabong, who was run by Bob Hurley.
John's ability to serve is spectacular. He has a God-given gift, and above and beyond that, just has a certain charisma. You know, he steps into a room, he lights it up.
I turned pro around 17.
Being at this age, being able to travel around like we do is like my total dream. And like to be living it is the best feeling ever.
I ended up leaving Billabong, signing with Quicksilver, also with Nixon watches and Arnett sunglasses. I was on tour for about 6 or 7 years. You know, I just felt like top of the world and just like king of the hill in a sense, you know? I was living a dream. I was living the, like, charmed life. But I think you get to a point where you see the writing on the wall. Contracts were getting smaller. My salaries were getting less and less. And then I did make a conscious choice that said, okay, like, I'm gonna stop doing this as a profession, which meant no more contracts.
Knowing when to quit or when to transition is probably the hardest thing. I had massive respect that he made that decision.
Totally scared. Like, I had wrapped my entire identity in John Rose, the pro surfer. When all of a sudden that stops, there's a big vacuum. I remember partying a lot at that time, drinking a lot, you know, doing my fair share of other substances. My relationship with my wife wasn't very good because, you know, in reflection, I feel really bad because she just loved me, and that wasn't enough for me, you know? Let's go under, ready?
It was just a very difficult time for John. His marriage had failed. He had foreclosed on his house. He was at a crossroads with his career. Things weren't firing for him. And he's a guy who fires, so it was particularly difficult.
My friend Jordan Tapas called me out of the blue and said, hey, we're doing a trip to the Mentawai Islands. Are you in? And I'm like, I can't, man. There's no way. I don't have any money. I don't have a job. But something in me was just like, I gotta go on this trip, you know? Prior to that trip, my father had started a little nonprofit called Raincatcher, and the whole concept behind it was teaching villages in Africa how to catch rainwater.
He was watching me doing the work, and the light bulb went off. He says, well, what you're doing in Africa, it's everywhere I've been in the world surfing. It's the same problem.
This opportunity came up to go to Indonesia with Jordan and talk to my dad. I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna get like 10 water filters. I'll bring them with me. I know the area, so I know that there's villages with the need. I'll implement those filters and call it Waves for Water and have an organization. It wasn't supposed to be a job. So I go on the trip to Indonesia. We're having a great time, we're surfing. The last night, we're supposed to arrive back in the city of Padang earlier in the evening, and we came in late due to some rough seas. And we had hotels booked, But collectively, we just said, let's just stay on the boat. That night, a 7.2 earthquake hit. You know, all those structures were compromised. We're all in shock, really. I mean, you're looking at a city that you've seen many times before, and it doesn't look the same. I'd never been faced with death and destruction on that level.
We were shocked by how devastated it was. We had never seen anything like it before. The hotels that we had stayed at just a week earlier were on the ground, they were rubble. Places that we'd eaten at for years were gone, and the carnage was palpable.
A lot of the relief centers at that point were just collecting bodies, either the dead or the wounded, and there was 2 tents. At a certain point in time, I just realized, you know, God, I have these 10 filters. I should probably give them here. I came into Padang off the boat, and I mean, I didn't even know what to do. I'd never done disaster relief before. I mean, I was, I guess, the first responder by accident. I found these old gasoline cans that were like, they hadn't been used, so I just mimicked them as buckets. I had my knife and I just cut the top off and like kind of made these 2 containers and built the systems, and they worked. We had clean water, and they used that water to clean the wounded, which in turn helped thousands of people. All of a sudden, I had this like clear sense of purpose in a way that was such a punch from the universe. It was like, oh yeah? You're confused right now? You're sad? You're angry? You're lost? Wake up. Here's your path. You think you're on this planet to be a pro surfer? No, you have bigger things to do.
Nous gagnons avec nous, Rosario Dawson.
The idea for World Water Day was, let's get some influencers and let's see how big the impact can be.
I just wanted to say thank you so much, because Sabine said that you've come from 17 different villages. You know, this work is not just for today, it's going to continue. So I just want to say thank you for being the first ones to make sure that your communities can get this help and this water and access and get this training, so that when we get more filters for you, that you can continue to grow that out in your communities. So thank you so much.
One of the things I love about wastewater is that it really does address a need, but it's being done so lovingly every step along the way, and that's really refreshing and really inspiring.
You want to pick someone who's going to be responsible for making sure the filter is clean?
We usually do that sort of like larger demonstration, and then we break off into smaller groups, and each of the different folks who are there then take on teaching their particular group how to use the filter bit by bit.
You want to keep this very clean. Don't let the kids drink from it.
It's fun to share that, like it's a fun thing to do with each other. There's a lot of stuff that you can do that sort of doesn't really require much from you, but this one really draws out your own person to really participate. And by the doing, you learn about yourself and how you can push yourself even more.
The first piece you're going to get is this bucket. This is very important to place on because you don't want any of the dirty water, contaminated water, to spill out into your filtered water.
I've been really interested in hearing more and more and more that poverty is sexist and that it does disproportionately affect women and children. And when you're talking about some of these rural communities that don't have running water, they're going to go and have to get that water regularly. There's just such a vulnerability in that one moment of how far and the distance that they go to and the times of the days and night that they go. And you're sending a girl, she may get abused on her way there. It becomes a life or death situation around water. It's really profound just how much can be affected in your life by just having access to clean drinking water.
Okay, guys, it's been a pretty big hustle today. I'm just overwhelmed, humbled, and grateful for you guys stepping up. And you guys have done that with flying colors, and I'm just so grateful.
The 100K World Water Day was a smashing success. Our goal was to give 100,000 people access to clean water in one day.
In 6 countries around the world. We far surpassed that. The actual number was probably closer to 180,000 people.
Being in Haiti right now means the world to me.
Haiti is really where Waves for Water developed as an organization and came to be what it is today.
It felt just 100% right to be here for this big initiative and to be kind of back at the center and back at the root of it all.
We're following breaking news from Haiti tonight, where a massive 7.0 earthquake struck barely 2 hours ago.
Haiti has been in and out of trouble for decades now. The earthquake was quite an event. It was a very eerie atmosphere. Imagine the entire capital city in a blanket of dust. So everybody has dust all over themselves. People are bleeding and shouting and carrying wounded people. We had thousands and thousands and thousands dead and injured, so.
I got a call from somebody who was mobilizing a huge effort saying, hey, is what you did in Indonesia viable for Haiti? And I said, yeah, sure. And he's like, great, you want to go tomorrow? And I was like, you sure? 3 days into it, driving through a city that is completely leveled, it looks like a bomb went off. I don't think any human being is prepared to see some of those things. Coming up on tractors, scooping thousands of bodies into a mass grave. Those are morbid, graphic things that nobody can prepare for.
John was in Haiti before I went to Haiti. And sometimes, you'd have some hard days, and it was really nice to have a beautiful friend that you could call and say, like, today was really hard. And that he would understand what that was like and hold you up a little bit, and then you would talk about the great parts of your day, and because you see it all.
There's no way that you can do this work without having some sort of scars that come along with it or some, backlash. But the main thing that just kept downloading was how much one person could do. It was like nothing else mattered. And I remember laying in my tent at one point and just saying, like, this is my life. This is who I am. This is why I'm here. I'm gonna divorce my wife. I'm gonna leave pretty much everything else behind and just be here now. Thought I was gonna stay for 2 weeks and stayed for 2 years.
It's not an easy thing to give up everything and commit like this. You had to give up relationships. You had to give up a lot of things that most people wouldn't be willing to do. Not everybody can do this. It takes an immense amount of courage to answer your call and to really let go.
Basically, I've been working in Haiti since the earthquake. To give clean water to the Haitian people. What I would like is to have you guys be the teachers for your community. So you will get the buckets and the filters and you'll assemble.
John immediately stood out because he was a let's get this done person. Not taking shortcuts, not trying to find easy ways out. No, let's take the hard work and let's do it and let's get it done. We very quickly started tailoring interventions that were keeping up the pace with the emergency at hand. We just kicked in and started going village by village, day after day, putting in place these units and teaching people how to use them. Following the Haiti earthquake, what was truly surprising to me was the intensity with which he looked for new challenges while maintaining the programs in Haiti. In the following 2-3 years, he started branching out in emergency situations around the world. And, you know, I'd get a phone call at 3 in the morning. William, this is John. I'm with the U.S. Army flying into Kandahar, Afghanistan. Can you hook me up with some UN guys here so that we can get a mapping of the villages that are most affected or most in need? Those kind of phone calls. And they just kept coming. And it was, you know, one time it was Afghanistan, another time it was somewhere in Africa, another time it was Latin America. It was just nonstop.
I would never sit here and tell you that I hope disasters happen, but in my line of work, there's so many countries in the world that need access to clean water. I look at the disasters as the door opening to a place that we've already wanted to work, and then once you're there, you have everyone's attention, you have support coming in, and then that parlays into long-term development programs.
For example, we first came to the Philippines right after Typhoon Haiyan, and we've been working here ever since.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just landed at Sargado Airport.
Hey, what's up? Welcome back. Come on, brother. How are you? Good, good, good. How are you?
This trip to the Philippines, we're gonna go do some monitoring and evaluating of work we've already done, specifically on this island called Surigao with a local organization called Hope for the Island. The monitoring and evaluating phase is really important to come back and see not only are the people benefiting to the potential of what they could, but it's also to come in and learn and to see the improvisation and to see the way they've adapted the tools that we've given them to fit their needs.
This is Vanji.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet all of you.
She's the one who's like basically in charge so that I have one go-to person. So what they did was like they put this here, set it up here, and then what they're doing is getting the water from there and bring it here so that everybody can just like filter from this.
So then everybody comes, the different households come with their own receptacle,
yes.
Fill up clean water and take it back.
Yes.
Okay.
All these bottles here are from the neighbors.
And maybe they could just take out the sports bottle cap.
Yeah, that's a really good point too.
Can I walk in? Is it okay? Yeah. So this is totally fine, but because the clean water is coming out of the top of here, and you're handling it with your hands, it's more likely to be contaminated. This is another little thing too, to be very, very careful of, is to make sure that this is tight, because right now there's a little bit dripping.
If they put their clean container down below to catch all the clean water coming out of the filter, and that leak from the top bucket is dripping into their clean container, that recontaminates it. So it is actually a big deal, but it's a quick and easy fix.
Pero pwede man yan na pagkakuha ng tubig diha, pwedeng ano, higpitan ba, higpitan.
Do you mind if I take a photo of it?
Yeah, no
It's okay?
I think that's just perfect.
It's really cool. With the banana leaf is so great.
Part of what's great about John is he strategically works with people that are great leaders within their communities. So these are people that are not necessarily have the most power. It might be some little old lady, but she has all these women that come to her. Maybe she's the midwife, but they have a big impact on that community, and they're very effective in that community.
Well, thank you very much for letting us see everything. You're doing a very good thing for everyone else by having it. It's nice to see. Yeah, it's nice to see it's managed so well.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
He really figured out a very streamlined system that could make maximum impact.
So this is one of the spots here. This is in the center of the community. So we got it set up pretty well here to feed out to 3 sources.
You made it a water depot, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a central location. This is so freaking cool to see. You know, we haven't been here yet to evaluate everything, and to come and just see this thing. It's so
well, we gave him the buckets, and you know, he actually took the initiative on this. So it's cool to see a local guy just say, you know what, hey, so many people are coming, we need to.
That didn't even come from you guys.
No.
That's awesome.
We kind of let them know, hey, you can, you know, set it up how you want.
I can't tell you how many times we've come and done follow-up, and I've taken ideas that I saw in some small community in some country and parlayed that into 10 other programs around the world. We literally learn from them. It's really like a two-way street. Taste the Burgos water. It's good. Sweet.
It's sweet.
Yeah. I feel proud of my boy Carlo, you know, for picking great partners. I feel proud of Hope for the Island for integrating this program into the community they're working the way that it's going to make sense to all the nuances of that community, stuff that we would never know. So it's this team effort that's just awesome, and, you know, can't help but feel good.
I have no idea how other NGOs are run, but I know Waste for Water doesn't run like a normal NGO. From what I know, Waste for Water runs more like a drug empire than it does a modern 501c3. It's a bunch of guys who throw merchandise in a duffel bag and go through customs without declaring what they're carrying and hope that a percentage of what they bring gets through and they can bring that into the field. That doesn't mean we don't go through the proper channels, and we do. But what we are unwilling to do is let bureaucracy slow us down.
It's probably about, we're going to this island, right?
The small one.
The small one? Yep. And do you know about how many people are living on that island?
They're around 5,000.
This one is already catching rain, right? They just don't have proper storage tanks.
Nope. They don't have proper storage tanks, but when we get there, we can see some pipings.
Okay. I like to be hands-on and being in the thick of it. The nature of this work really suits me and, you know, my character and the things that I love to do. It's always kind of an adventure. Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
You want to try that?
And what are they using before these?
This one.
These are, so all of this is what they've been using before, right?
So this is what we use. So we
Like
can,
this.
yeah.
Look,
So see, it's
exactly
you know,
how they've been catching it. Carlo. Yeah. See? That gutter?
Yep.
And then it goes into that hose, straight into here.
So as you can see, they have a lot of mosquitoes.
A lot of
larvae.
mosquitoes.
This is the only water they got.
Yeah. They've already got the rain catchers in place. They use the roofs, and then they have gutters feeding into barrels or tanks. So we've determined that the best, cleanest, quickest way to fix their issues is to bring in new tanks so that those containers where the water is being stored just aren't as dirty, and they're bigger and they can store more, as well as just provide filters for, you know, a lot of the households. I love coming to these islands and these far off the beaten path places and seeing the ingenuity.
Yeah.
Seeing them already catching rain and doing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool how they're using the sacks as just covering the water right there.
And then these guys are all on guard, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy. All right, let's go.
I'll show you the school.
Let's go check it out. It's really important in the work that we do to not come in and dictate or try to dominate the situation. Most of the time, it's just a little missing link between the problem and the solution.
From here, all the way, and
goes straight right through here.
This is awesome. This is so awesome. Rainwater. You come into this little island in the middle of nowhere, but they have rain catchment systems. They've like done the hard work. They've already built this system in this school that's got piped water coming from the rain catcher all the way down to a faucet. It's just not clean. You just add one filter to that equation and it's safe.
So actually, it's a great help for us, for the students to drink water just here. Because many times the students will go home in the middle of the class just to drink water. It is a great help for us to let the students just drink here and go back to the classroom.
So kids leave in the middle of class to go home and drink water?
No, just to drink water.
Oh my God. Just by adding a filter here at this school, if a kid doesn't have to leave class or leave school to go home to get clean water, he or she is now in school all day. And also, just not being sick. A lot of what this teacher didn't mention, but I do know is true, is that a lot of these kids are just not in school at all sometimes because they're sick. And it's totally preventable. How many islands in the Philippines?
7,107 islands.
Okay. So that means we have like
100
more to go.
97, I think, max.
Yeah. We've only done like 15 or 20.
20, yeah.
Man. Well, one at a time.
Challenge accepted, yeah.
One at a time, one at a time. There's always a feeling with this work where it's never enough. That's daunting. At the same time, it's motivating. At least it is for me. It's motivating to work that much harder. Look, 7,000 islands is a lot, but it's still a finite number. So I'll take that. Wastewater was born out of the spirit of adventure. And out of that came our mantra, do what you love and help along the way. Every single project that we're doing, there's some element of that, and I think it's really important.
John's always liked to have a good time. No matter where he is, John is going to swashbuckle his way through it and find the pulse.
We take it very serious, but why not, just go out there and purely enjoy these amazing places that we're in. The old school model of service was like, I need to go save these people at all costs. I don't believe in that. To be honest, I never set out to save anyone. It's not about saving anybody. It's about me doing my part and participating in this world a little bit more socially consciously and exercising all of my passion and living the life I want to live. Brazil's been on our radar for a long time. It was one of the first countries after Haiti that we worked in. And now we're about to embark on a new project modeled around arguably one of the biggest sporting events of the year in the world.
Look what Neymar just did, though.
What? On what?
A post, like saying, hey, I want everyone to share this post and help Institute to Neymar Jr. and Waves for Water to give access to clean water to thousands of families in Brazil during the games.
Are you kidding me?
No. 23 million followers.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's insane. It's like, are you kidding?
As soon as I met John, we started to talk about, hey, we should do something for the big soccer tournament that is about to happen in Brazil. At the time, I was working with Neymar, designing his brand, his logo. And then we came up with the idea that is, so why would not use him, one of the top soccer players in the world, the rising star from Brazil, to this big project. But we need to have someone to pay for that.
The Waves for Water business model is more of like a traditional contractor model saying, okay, we provide a service, we provide access to clean water, and somebody pays for it.
It's super good to be here at PayPal and finally meet you, Renato. It's really a big day for us to connect all of this.
The idea of really tapping into corporations and targeting them as partners, as opposed to just the UN or the US military or other organizations, but going after brands, a lot of that came from Guga. It's another game changer.
We are inviting customers from all these 32 countries that will be in Brazil during the summer to donate some funds to help support you guys in the efforts of buying water filters to distribute in these communities that are in need here in Brazil. And we create the proper environment for them to make the donation.
More than 20 million, right?
We are talking about more than 40 million
40
users.
million.
Yeah.
40 million users.
40 million users who are going to be reached out in this initiative.
This is a dynamic project. You've got PayPal doing what they do best. They're handling the funds.
I think we feel so responsible for making this a success as you guys are feeling also providing access to this community. So it has been really a great journey.
Neymar is going to leverage his celebrity and who he is to bring awareness to this.
Quero convocar todos vocês para novo projeto. O meu instituto, o Waves for Water e a PayPal, vamos nos juntar para levar água potável para milhares de brasileiros.
It's like he does a post about Waves for Water, and that's reach that we've never seen before. And we're going to leverage our experience, and we're going to come in and do the actual implementing of this program into communities that need it. Basically, the way we designed it was that we wanted to become the positive footprint of this tournament. So every single city throughout Brazil where games were being played, we wanted to implement our program in underserved areas of that city. It's a really well thought out plant that's potentially the biggest project we've ever done in any country. Every country we work in is different. For Brazil, it's tough. These favela communities are tough. You know, you're dealing with people that are below the poverty line and rough and tumble, and it's really tough conditions. You know, it doesn't always go according to plan. We show up and our point of contact isn't there.
Pedro, o Pedro. Preciso do Pedro aqui.
Or our point of contact's there, but some of the people that he tried to get aren't there. People are kind of short attention span. But it's our job to be able to adapt in the moment.
Marcelo, o Pedro tá ali. Fala com ele, cara, aqui. Talvez ele pega mais umas pessoas e já começa a trazer pra cá. Ele tá tentando... Não, ele tá ali, ó.
Guga is a natural leader, and that's all it really comes down to.
Primeira coisa, gente, ó, silêncio, ó, obrigado. Primeiro, bom dia para todo mundo.
You need somebody to step up and get their attention, and also do it in a non-authoritative way. So do it with charisma.
Tenho o dia inteiro para conversar, para tomar uma cerveja, para torcer pelo Brasil. Só preciso de 10 minutos aqui. 10 minutos de vocês, porque isso é bom para vocês, tá?
During the demonstrations, you have to be super focused on the audience. Sometimes you have to make jokes. Sometimes what I do a lot with John is like kind of mocking him.
Tá, o John, que é esse gringo, ele não fala português. O gringo não fala português.
And then everyone starts to laugh and blah, blah, blah. So you have to create like a quick relationship with the audience. Make them feel that they are part of it.
Dê uma olhada aqui agora, ó. Ó a cor dessa água. Alguém aqui beberia essa água? Não? Mas se eu disser que vocês vão beber, alguém acredita? Ó, essa aqui é a água que tá dentro do balde. Olha como tá saindo a água. Olhem aqui como é que tá saindo a água.
Sim?
Ó a diferença. Agora eu quero saber quem aqui que prestou mais atenção. Tu? Então vai ter um do zero. Eu vou trocar de lugar. Ó, eu vou ficar aqui.
As soon as they start to do the demo, it's way different.
Bom dia, gente! Esse aqui é um balde, hein? Esse aqui é um balde, viu, gente? Esse aqui é uma mangueirinha, pra quem não sabe.
If someone from the community is like doing the demo, the others helping out. No, it's not this, it's like that. And then boom, you got.
Arroz, tá roscando, Kelly? Tá arrochando. Tá arrocha aí. Aqui é o filtro, pra quem não sabe, tá? A gente vai colocar aqui.
Vai devagar por lá, viu?
Now it's not you, it's them.
Olha, gente.
Isso.
É isso aí.
São Paulo is a big city, but all over there's a lot of those favelas, the slums. The level of quality of life, it's like a huge gap. And sometimes when you are like in your daily life, you forgot that because you have everything.
Pode entrar aí? Pode entrar?
So this is where she gets her water?
Yeah. She basically used water from here. It's not filtered. It's not
safe for her
It's not
kids.
safe for the kids. No. Yeah. You have quantos filhos tu tem?
2.
She had 2 kids.
2 kids.
Esse é o maior ou o menor?
O menor.
É o menor.
And you see the snot?
Yeah. E às vezes eles têm diarreia.
Tem.
Muita não.
Tem dor de estômago demais.
Porque às vezes vocês não sabem, mas às vezes é da água toda essa doença.
Um pouco disso eu já sabia, porque minha mãe me fala, né? Esses canos de água suja aí. Porque a minha mãe fala isso.
Jessica, she lived with 2 kids in a room, like probably not as big as this place, this area, this sofa here, 30 minutes from billions of dollars in one stadium.
She's saying like, hey, I know that the water is not clean, but it's the only one that we have. She knows that the pipes are dirty, but they can't do anything. Yeah,
But
mas
now-
agora tem como fazer. Outra coisa que é importante é, não precisa ser só para beber. Escovar os dentes, dar um banho num bebê ou numa criança.
Medicamento.
Um medicamento. Antes, sempre que vocês precisarem de água, toma aqui, não toma mais daqui.
As soon as you kind of open the curtains to see the real world, you can't close anymore. It's about Jessica. It's about all the Jessicas around the world, probably 1 billion Jessicas around the world. And we should never forget about Jessica.
Sim.
Ai, obrigado, Deus abençoe. Você deu uma mão na outra.
She's like saying like, God bless you guys, thanks a lot, because it's gonna change her life.
Awesome.
To see in the eyes of someone that you can change his life, and she will see directly into your eyes, thank you. And that's really powerful.
A gente faz o que a gente pode fazer.
It's funny when you first start doing aid, you think that you're helping people, but the truth is they're helping you. And then you find like you really need each other.
E eu falei para... Oi, a Jéssica tá aí? É o Pedro. É, do balde. Tá?
What's he saying?
Who is want to talk to Jessica? Pedro. Pedro from the bottom. The bottom.
Pedro from the buckets. Amazing.
Hello. E aí, Jéssica, tudo bem?
Tudo bem, Jéssica?
Como é que tá? Tudo bom?
Yeah. Hello.
Tudo bem, Ana Luísa?
Com você, a gente queria saber como é que tá as coisas aqui.
Então melhorou bastante, ajudou bastante aquele balde lá. Eu tô usando muito mais sobrepego, tá ajudando bastante.
O que você tem sentido das crianças?
Melhorou bastante, assim, pelo menos eles não estão reclamando mais tanto, assim, devido à dor de estômago. Até o pequenininho mesmo, que ainda usa fralda, tá, eu já percebi uma diferença, tá? Porque essa água daqui, ela é mesmo meio contaminada, então ajudou bastante.
I asked her about the kids, and she said that she saw some difference in the baby's poop, this kind of thing.
The little baby, different.
Yeah, Medisha already saw the difference.
My favorite part of this work is the follow-up, because you get to see the impact that you had. It feels good to know that all the effort that we put in on every level resulted in this woman now having access to clean water, and seeing how appreciative she is just, it doesn't get old, you know? It's just such a reminder of why we do what we do.
Obrigada. Obrigado a vocês também.
Obrigado, Jéssica.
Tchau, vamos com
Tchau,
Deus.
tchau.
Obrigado.
Já acordei, né?
Muito obrigado.
Obrigado a vocês, tchau.
We set a lofty goal for this project to try and touch 200,000 people. PayPal set another lofty goal to raise $120,000. Our actual impact was 500,000 people, and they raised over $300,000.
When you start anything, for a long time, you're just fighting to establish yourself. You're just fighting to say, look, we're here, and this is what we're doing. And then at a certain point in time, you're established. The program has helped millions of people, not just a family or a village or a region, but countries. We have ongoing programs in 18 countries now. We have amazing partners of the highest caliber. I feel like it's becoming a regular thing to break new ground. Since the beginning, we had a program called the Clean Water Couriers, which was us deciding that we wanted to piggyback travelers that were already going places and just plug our program into what they're doing. So that's been happening since the inception of Waves for Water, and it's a guerrilla movement. For Water platform is just the next iteration of that for them to do it easier, you know, and they can do it on their phone, but it's a platform for people to be able to go out there and make a difference in the world and do all the things that they love, but add purpose to it. Exactly what we're doing.
John's thing is so easy, to just go have fun and help along the way everywhere you go.
You know, people talk about, like, you should find your passion and you should go for it, but you don't really know where to start. I love that Jonathan's like, start with just a filter. Throw a filter in your backpack. It's sort of like the 1 billion rising concept. It's like, we're gonna do this work together. If we all tap our energy into that.
The idea that one person can't make a difference is bullshit. I think we're born very powerful, and I think society takes away some of that power. There's all these different things that it tells us we're supposed to do, and that's taking away this power that we were born with, and this power to move mountains, to change the game. The world water crisis is solvable if, as a group, we are all moving together, and it's a collective effort, it's a collective consciousness.
It sounds lofty, but it's completely doable.
The first time that I met John, he lost his tooth. So he was like always like taking off the tooth, and it was like, John, toothless.
John has a very unique skill set. He'll sleep outside, he'll sleep on his back, he'll sleep with all his clothes on.
He's one of the kindest, most generous people I know, who's super stubborn and very pig-headed, and that's how he gets shit done. Pig-headed sounds horrible, but that's a compliment coming from me. Just to be clear, John, a Finn.